Yeah, I can still call it crusade. It's probably gonna have to. Before the end times, I'm sure there'll be a few more crusades called. The Islamic wave is growing, right? My father's a Muslim. I have family who's Muslim. Um, there is a lot of conversions happening within Islam right now, and at the same time, there is a um, there is a wave of Islamic conquest going on as well. I mean, Christian Europe is overrun right now by Islam, um, and it's purposeful, right? And like respect to them, it's what they're supposed to do, right? It's what they're supposed to do. Catholicism and Islam will meet on the battlefield one day, and we know who'll win, but that's what's going to happen. Yeah. I think the only way to purge the world is the Islamic wave of conquest. I think it'll purge the world from a lot of silliness, because when people are just stuck in their luxury and comfort, they start coming up with all sorts of crazy ideas. And when the Islamic wave of conquest comes, that'll be over. So I kind of feel like the Muslims will purge a lot of the ridiculousness out of this world, and then it'll be for Catholicism and Islam to duke it out one final time.
What have you learned from your father about Islam?
That they have natural virtue that we don't have, and that there's natural virtue that they've learned in the deserts and they've learned in the difficult ways. Kind of like a little bit like the Russians who've learned some natural virtue in the cold winters that go for like, winter is coming is a reality for them. That's almost similar natural virtues in a different way. The Middle Eastern people have natural virtue that we just don't have. We're crippled by. And they're great assets, and they're people we should convert, because when they convert, they fight. So a natural virtue for sure. There's a courage, and they don't compartmentalize the faith. Westerners compartmentalize. I have church here, I have football here, my wife is here, my kids are here, and I neatly go in between all of them and work within them, right? Mass is for these four walls, church is for these four walls on Sunday. And then outside of that, I'm drinking my beer, I don't want to have to deal with that. For Muslims, for the Middle Easterners, especially like for my father, who came from Iran, which is a theocracy, right? Religion is everything. It touches everything. So that's why it's why the Muslims see, for instance, like for them, they consider like the Jews such an enemy of theirs, because for them it's a theological problem, right? People always attribute it, it's just like, oh, these conspiracies, but for them it's a deeply theological problem. For them, they say, the Muslims will say, the Jews killed Christ, and because of that, they'll spend all of history to throw down anything that is representative of Christ, because if they can do that, then they legitimize the claim of Christ, right? Which the Muslims believe was the most powerful of the prophets. Muhammad was the greatest one, but Jesus was more powerful. He did miracles. Muhammad didn't do the things that Jesus did. And so for them, it's a theological thing. So it seeps into everything that they do, theology. There is nothing that they don't see as theological. And we could learn something from them for that. Because we compartmentalize, and we're at work and someone blasphemes and we don't say anything because, you shouldn't. But no, theology touches everything because God does. So we could learn that from them. That's and natural virtue. Yeah, they have a lot of the hospitality that they have, right? They'll die for you. If you're in you might be their enemy, but if you're in their home, they'll die for you. They're beautiful souls, in a lot of ways. There's a lot of natural virtue. I mean, it's a false religion, so it's corrupted. There's beautiful spirituality to them, a lot of them, but it's a heresy. I mean, they don't believe in the Trinity, first of all, right? And they don't believe Christ is God.